Shabbat Shalom, everyone. If you haven't noticed, it's a slightly empty beamer this evening. Wow, off to a good start. This evening, that's why I need the rabbi here. So it is just myself leading services this evening, but the wonderful Zach Migdale is going to be doing tech for us. Hello to everyone out there on YouTube. It's wonderful to have you with us digitally. It's been, as always, quite a week, and it's so wonderful to just come together and sing together and be here in this amazing space. We have a few people here for the first time, so welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us in our beautiful sanctuary. And I would like to now invite Ruth Auerbach for a few words from the Hills of Eternity Board of Trustees.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's great to see you here. I'm Ruth Auerbach, officially vice chair, but sort of co-chair of the Hills of Eternity Board now, past chair. And it's really great to have you all here, and we are trying our best to be as much a part of the congregation as the rest of the organizations here. And so I'm delighted to be able to welcome you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Spoiler alert, we're going to hear a lot about Kabbalat Shabbat later on. I'm going to give a sermon and song about specifically Psalm 95 in our Kabbalat Shabbat. But we are going to skip that psalm for now because we're going to hear a few settings later on and continue with our welcoming of the Shabbat bride on page 20 with our Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת אקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת אקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם תשוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת אקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת אקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת אקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, לקראת שבת אקבלה. We rise to greet the Shabbat bride. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 Okay, let's remain standing as we continue with our service. Next, we would like to formally begin our prayer service, right? We have welcomed the Shabbat bride. We have welcomed Shabbat. We have joined in this marriage between Shabbat and the Jewish people, and we now continue standing as we prepare for our main service with our Baruch Hu. Please continue with our Baruch Hu on page 28. Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Baruchu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. One of the joys of leading in this beautiful sanctuary and actually working in this building is really being able to see the light reflect on the windows at different times of day. And that's what our next prayer really teaches us, our Ma'ariv Aravim, that we have this rolling between darkness and light. So we're going to continue with a setting by Noam Katz of Roll into Dark, our Ma'ariv Aravim chant. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night, borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, kolel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night, borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, kolel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. We continue on the bottom of page 33 in the English. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your words and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue with the Ahavat Olam on page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shokbenu v'kumenu, Nasiach b'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. Please be seated. We continue with our Ve'ahavta on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We continue on page 38 at the bottom of the page in the English. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously, on page 40 with our Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha, Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora, Nora, Tehilot, Tehilot, Ose, Ose, Fele, Fele, Nora, Nora, Tehilot, Ose, Fele, Malchutecha, Ra'u Vanecha, Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli, Anu ve'amru, Adonai, Adonai Yimloch, Leolam Va'ed, Adonai Yimloch, Leolam Va'ed, Yai dai 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 dai, Yai dai 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 dai, Yai dai 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 dai, Yai dai dai dai, Yai dai 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 dai. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. I've been listening to this podcast called How to Build a Happy Life, and it's really fascinating and it's really wonderful, and it talks about, negative emotions and why they arise, and how evolutionarily speaking, negative emotions were here to protect us, right? To protect us when we were in danger. Anger, it's going to make us react. It's going to make us protect ourselves. And that's all well and good. But sometimes, those negative emotions well up and we don't want them to be there. And they can really stop us from enjoying ourselves, from enjoying our lives. And so I thought, what a wonderful thing that we have prayer, that we have specifically this Hashkey prayer, where we ask for protection. We get all of the pluses of the negative emotions without the negative emotions. So it's really a wonderful thing to have this blessing of protection, right? To channel that love and that protectedness into our prayers. So I just wanted to bring that kavanah, bring that intention as we recite our Hashkey prayer. This can be found on page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 One more time. Amen. 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 We think now of those who may be in need of healing, whether it's healing of body, mind, or spirit. We think of those in our community and those in the wider world. If there is no one particularly you're thinking of at this time, then just send general goodwill out there to the world, because I know that there are certainly those out there who we are unaware of who might need it at this time. We continue with our Mishiberach, which can be found on page 253. Mishiberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. At this time, our community thinks of Tzur Miriam Bat Hana Ve Moshe, Jim Blattner, Bob Fonero, Sima Grabowski, William Kurian, Agnes Rothblatt, and Shell Wolf. If there's anyone you are thinking of at this time, please share their name as my eyes meet yours. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness, for being pleased with the seventh day you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. Yismechu can be found on page 44. Yismechu ve'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu ve'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadasheh Shevi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbehu,
ויתגומתו וכשבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ובשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, אמנה עד ימים אותו קראת שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. זכר זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג השבת.
We come now to our Amidah, to our standing prayer, our tefillah. This is really the central prayers of our service, so please, we will continue with the Adonai Sefatai together, and then continue with the Avot and Gevurot, Kedusha together, and then you'll be left to pray the prayers of your heart, your own intentions. So again, if there's nothing you're thinking of, think of wonderful things that you can send out to the universe, that you can send out to each other in this difficult time. We continue with the Adonai Sefatai on page 46. Please rise. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai, Adonai, Sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה,
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We continue silently before joining together in a prayer for peace on page 62. You may be seated when you've finished your private prayer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי תהילתך אדוני צורי וגואלי עושה שלום במרומיו כה יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל די 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 Yai
die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. No, we're going to keep this on. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As I mentioned, this evening we're going to look all the way back to the start of Kabbalat Shabbat and look at the first psalm in our Kabbalat Shabbat service, Psalm 95. It's been a while since we explored Kabbalat Shabbat, so I thought we'd do a bit of a review. There will be a test next week, so please take notes. Essentially, Kabbalat Shabbat is the celebration of the uniting between Shabbat and the people Israel, the sacred marriage between God and Shabbat and the Jewish people. There's this kind of duality of marriage between Shabbat and the Jewish people, or Shabbat and God, but Shabbat is definitely the bride. It's our youngest service, so it's late 16th century. The famous Jewish mystics of Tzfat began practicing reciting a set of psalms as a way to celebrate the coming of Shabbat. Rabbi Moses Cordovero developed which specific psalms we recited, while his brother-in-law, Shlomo Alkobetz, wrote the famous Lecha Dodi that we hear at the start of our service. And they also prayed with Rabbi Elazar Azkiri, who wrote the Yidid Nefesh prayer that we sometimes hear, and Rabbi Isaac Luria, who was kind of the theological mystic around this whole practice. So it's kind of the Kabbalat Shabbat all-stars, and they gave us this beautiful liturgy, which precedes the Baruch Hu on a Friday night, right, which precedes our Ma'ariv service. We recite Psalms 95 to 99, followed by Psalms 29. And these 6 recitations, these 6 psalms, actually represent the 6 days of the week preceding Shabbat. So we're going to start with that first day with Psalm 95. Psalm 95 can be found on page 12. You'll notice the themes are based around God's sovereignty and the natural world. We see, if you look at the translation, the peaks of the mountains are God's, God's is the sea and the land. But interestingly, the Reformed tradition cuts out the last 2 verses, which is where it gets a little more interesting, a little more saucy, and where the psalmist really invokes the Torah, which is one of the really wonderful aspects of religious poetry that we have, right? When there's this kind of self-referencing of the Torah, of different aspects of Judaism, and commentary within the psalm about kind of theology. So the psalmist writes of Massah and Meribah, which were actually the places where the Israelites quarreled when they were crossing the Sea of Reeds, where they quarreled about their lack of water. And actually then the final verse refers to the 40 years in the desert and really serves as a kind of warning or a scolding from God. Again, you won't find it in this prayer book, I apologize. It's a Reformed prayer book, but it reads, "For 40 years I strove with that generation. I said, they are a people whose hearts go astray, who have not understood my ways. So I swore in my anger, they shall not enter my place of rest." So basically it's just God being a dad, right, saying, in other words, don't complain or you won't get a Shabbos. In our Reformed tradition, as I said, it excludes these last verses, but I think it's always interesting to go back to the traditional liturgy and see this invocation juxtaposed against the joy of Shabbat. And of course, this is a time of rejoicing. Our first words commence with L'chu neranana, let us rejoice and sing to God. Our traditional nusach, right, our traditional prayer mode, which is used to recite this text, is kind of a very joyful major modality. It's very peaceful. I'll just recite the traditional nusach, how you might hear it in a traditional synagogue. L'chu neranana l'Adonai, nariya, letzor yeshenu. So again, kind of this really happy, joyous Kabbalat Shabbat nusach. Our first setting is a Sephardic setting of the text. We don't have a lot of information about its history, but it's a really kind of beautiful folk-style melody which kind of follows the contours of that nusach. It sort of keeps that melody in mind and certainly puts us in a state of joy. This is the Sephardic L'chu neranana. L'chu neranana l'Adonai, nariya letzor yeshenu, lekadma fanav betodah, bezmirot nariya lo,
נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו. אל גדול אדוני, ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים, אשר בידו מחקרי הארץ, ותועפות הרים לו. אשר בידו מחקרי הארץ, ותועפות הרים לו. Die, 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 It's our Sephardic setting of Lechuna Ranana. Our next setting is by Matovu, actually the group of composers, the group of contemporary songwriters who wrote the Hashkey that we just did. Hashkey Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. So another beautiful setting, another contemporary setting. This is actually not in a traditional major key, it's in a minor key, so it's a little bit of a juxtaposition, but it's kind of definitely has this excitement of building. It seems to conjure this mighty natural world, which is powerfully rendered in our psalm. As the choir members in our congregation know very well, I do tend to avoid English settings, but I feel like this English setting is not too bad. I don't mind it as much. This is a commentary from the composers. At the beginning of Shabbat evening services, Jews all over the world sing the words of Psalm 95, which acknowledges God's majesty in our lives and in our world. The psalmist urges us to listen for God's voice, for it can be heard throughout creation. So that's kind of what the English text denotes in this setting. Lechu neranena, yai dai 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 dai, l'Adonai, yai dai 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 dai, nariah, yai dai 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 dai, letzur yeshenu, yai dai 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 dai. Let us sing out to God, the maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation, from mountain to sea, hear our song. Lechu neranena, yai dai 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 dai, Adonai, yai dai 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 dai, Nahariah, yai dai 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 dai, letzur yeshenu, yai dai 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 dai. For all of the wonders in all of God's life, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice. Lechu neranena, yai dai 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 dai, l'Adonai, yai dai 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 dai, nariah, yai dai 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 dai, letzur yeshenu, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai. It was Lechuna Ranana by Matovu. Really beautiful kind of rollicking setting. We hear this sort of the waves maybe of the natural world crashing down. Really wonderful setting. Our last setting that we're going to listen to today is the Lechuna Ranana of Joey Weisenberg, who wrote our opening nigun, our wonderful Lincoln's nigun. So another really wonderful contemporary composer. I feel like this is a setting which really captures the essence of the nusach, the chant, with a kind of really catchy, bit of a rocking nigun, kind of a dive bar nigun, I would say. It's really cool. And it really sort of serves to bring in the congregation and also have this chant component beforehand. So this is Joey Weisenberg's Lechu Neranana. Lechu Neranana L'Adonai Naharia Letzur Yeshenu Nekadma Fanav Betoda Bezmirot Naharia lo Yadai dai dai Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai Lechu neranena L'Adonai Naharia Letzur Yeshenu Nekadma Fanav Betoda Bezmirot Naharia lo Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai dai Yadai dai Yadai dai. Three beautiful settings, Psalm 95, Lechuna Ranana, by three very different composers, very different intentions on the setting of the text, and I hope to bring them to you later in the year during services to get our Kabbalat Shabbat started. At this point in our service, we'd like to acknowledge any simchas, any smachot in the congregation that may be happening, that may have happened in the last week or so, or may be coming up. Don't be shy. Anyone got any fun things to report? No good news? Yes, please, David.
Carolyn and I were pleased over the last weekend to go to the Seattle area to visit our oldest son, Seth, and we came back just before the real heat hit the Seattle area over Northwest. Fortunately, we bought 4 air-conditioned units with that. We really liked it. We'll see.
Dodging the heat. Excellent. Wonderful. That's definitely a reason for a Shechiano. Anyone else? Please, Zach.
My family is celebrating my grandfather's birthday tomorrow. Don't ask me which one. I don't know. I'm terrible with birthdays.
One of your many grandpas is going to... Oh, which birthday? Right. Okay. All right. That's a little better. All right. Anyone else? Your mother's father. Excellent. Excellent. Well, sounds like a joyous occasion. Any other smachot? Any simchas? Yes, please.
I celebrated my 45th birthday this past Tuesday.
45, Mazal Tov, at Me'av Esrim, until 120. That's so wonderful. Anyone else birthdays? Yeah, please. Was that Janet had a birthday? When was your birthday? Today?
One more time? August 1st. All right, looking forward to that. Well, send Janet some birthday love on August 1st. All right, anyone else? All right, so then let's stand for our Shehechianu, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. We continue standing and turn to page 282 for our Eleno Prayer. Eleno l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please take a seat. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Is there anyone who has lost someone in the past 7 or 30 days, in the last Shiva or Shloshim, and in 7 or 30 days of mourning? Please rise and share a name. Sorry. For the first year of mourning, we remember our beloved Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Marty Wiener. Is anyone else in Shana, the first year of mourning? Please rise and share a name and stay standing. Please remain standing. Perpetual memorials in our community are Shoshana Hannah Asher, Judy Migdale, and Joseph Sattler. The yard sites in our community are Ruth Bronfeld, Clara Cooperstein, Elizabeth Feineman, Celia Feldman, Ineska Felton, Inga Frankenstein, Louis Handler, Larissa Losobashvili, Fena Khazanov, Henry Kronberg, Vanya Medvedovskaya, Michael Merkel, Leon Mervis, William Moskowitz, Jonathan Rinsler, Myrtle Rubenstein, Irene Sladnick, Frank Stern, and Irvin Teitel. If there is anyone else remembering a yard site at this time, please rise and share a name. We stand as one community in solidarity with our mourners and continue with the Mourners Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'vyom echon u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shmei dekudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Zichronom levracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Some announcements. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, our operatic Havdalah, which was going to take place tomorrow, is postponed.
We're continuing with our literary series this Wednesday, I believe, with Susan Borkin, and on August 10th with Rebecca Handler and Daniel Handler, and then taking a week off for the Jewish Heritage Night Baseball, so please be in touch if you want to get tickets to that. And then continuing on August 24th with J.D. Horn. We have a Tot Shabbat, if you are a Tot and watching, if you are Tot adjacent, if you have someone under, we can say under 9 in your household, kind of 5 and 6 and under, but we're not that picky. So please bring a young child, if you have one in your life, to our Tot Shabbat Friday, August 5th. They'll be singing and dancing and all kinds of fun stuff. We have our young adult program, wine tasting, on August 6th at noon. Please, you do need to book a ticket, but it's a young adult program. You get wine tasting in the Napa Valley, all transportation and cellar room. All the fees are included in the price, so please book a ticket to come yap wine tasting with us. We have another Tot Shabbat in the park on Saturday, August 13th. That's going to be at Alta Plaza Park, 10:30 a.m. And please sign up for studio. Enrollment is open for 2022-2023 studio year. So again, if you are a younger person, or if you are the parent or loved one of a young person of school age, then please get involved in studio if you are not already. It's an amazing program. And let's continue with our Kiddush. Everyone please rise. Torah study is tomorrow with me on Zoom. We're going to look at we've got a double parsha, so there's a lot to choose from, but we're going to look at some very interesting murder laws tomorrow morning. That's at 9:15 on Zoom. You can join via the website. Let's continue now with Kiddush on page 5. Please stand. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav veratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And I believe we do have a special challah this evening. Was it cranberries? Cranberry and apricot challah made by our wonderful Ruth Auerbach. So thank you so much. It looks beautiful. I'll try and get it to lots of fun. All right, well, I'm going to take a big piece this evening. Sometimes it's less advisable, but a nice big chunk. Let's join in our motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon. Really good. I gotta sing now, but I'll come back to it. We are going to conclude with our Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. I believe can be found on page 353. Let me check that. Yes, bottom of page 353. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Please be seated or start walking or start talking, whatever feels natural. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. שבת שלום.